a small chicken burrito. At the end of the meal, I said to the kids who prepared it, I only made one mistake. I should have gotten a large. Interesting. The largest is as big as my head, not my head. Is everybody in? Have you? Yeah, you're not in here. Everybody here? How many more are coming in? Because we only have seating for another 3 or 4. That's it? See if you can get 3 or 4 more people in here, will you? How many people here call themselves press? I just want to know that. It's fantastic. I'm pressed too. Oh, here they go. What did you think? I was starting at 1:30 or something? Okay. Hi, everybody. I, of course, am Brent Spiner. I'd like to introduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brent Spiner. Thank you. And thank you for that introduction. Have you been to see other people do this? Yeah. Yeah? Huh? Janeway. She was here yesterday for about 20, 30 minutes, wasn't she? In and out. She was like, oh, I'm exhausted, I gotta go. No, Kate, she's terrific, she really is. I saw Kate first, and I'm not kidding you. I said this to her last night. I said, I saw you in Camino Real in New York City. I don't know what year it was. She said, I was 17 years old. And I went, you're kidding. So no, I was 17 years old. And I went, well, I don't remember what year that was. And I added it, and I went, she's 37? Can't be, is she? Maybe she is, I don't know. Anyway, who else have you seen in here?
Riker last year.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Prince. Riker last year you saw him here, right? Who?
Dwight Schultz.
Dwight Schultz. Second play I ever did in New York was with Dwight Schultz. I've known him that long. He was the star of the show, and I had a tiny little part. He was brilliant in it. It was Dwight Schultz and his girlfriend, Glenn Close, did the play together. And she was his girlfriend then. She's not anymore. He's a happily married man. Well, I don't know how happy he is. He is married. And who? Jonathan? You saw Jonathan Frakes? Jonathan's fine, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an unexpected ball of energy, isn't he? Jonathan was on the show, and most people don't believe this, he was the single wildest person on the set. You would expect that. You watch the show and you see, Jonathan. You know, and he's like, he's on a stick. He's like, and then, you know how he walked, But he was nothing like that in real life, as you found out. The guy is wild. Great guy, though, by the way. And have you seen anybody else other than Janeway this weekend? Did you see Henry Winkler? Yeah, Henry Winkler. You know, I didn't realize that Happy Days was a sci-fi. Although,
Jump the shark.
Mork and Mindy, he wasn't on Mork and Mindy. Mork was on, and that's the connection. It's unbelievable. No, Henry Winkler is, by the way, one of the nicest people in show business, and everybody will say that who knows him. Everybody, because he really is. He's a great guy. You know what, by the way, I have this theory, and I don't know if it's true. This is a great format, isn't it? I talk, you listen. I mean, you get to talk to me. It's not like, somebody's phone going. Can you answer your phone, please? Hello? Oh, hello? That's my phone. Hello? No, you know this thing, you've heard 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, that everybody is 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon in some way. They actually did prove, scientists recently, that everyone on the planet is indeed no more than 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. Seriously. I happen to think I am no more than 3 to 4 degrees away from anyone who's ever been in show business. And I can prove that. Can you just throw me a name, any name? Who? I'm sorry. All right, Harvey Keitel. I heard that clearly. Plus, I don't know who James Marsters is. Is he X-Men? James Marsters. Spike! Oh, Spike! Oh, gosh. Spike's easy. But let me do James Marsters. Harvey Keitel, okay? Let me think. Harvey Keitel, Harvey Keitel, Harvey Keitel. I can't think of it. Let me do James Marsters. What's he in? Oh, he's on Buffy on TV, right? He was on Buffy, right? Buffy? Well, I'm sitting right next to Christy Swanson out there, you know, that's sort of close, right? That's close enough. That's 2 degrees right there. Huh? You can get closer? How?
He did the audition for Nemesis.
Well, there you go. Audition for Nemesis, Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner. Harvey Keitel to, let me think about Harvey Keitel. I mean, he's done so many. Oh, I can do it. Harvey Keitel to Holly Hunter on the piano. Miss Firecracker I was in with Holly Hunter. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Anyone else? So we did this all day. Red Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren to Walter Matthau, Dirty Old Men, to Out to Sea.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I can't do it. Red Skelton. Well, I don't even want to be connected to Red Skelton. I'm sure I could do Red Skelton. Oh, I can't think right now. You know, better I talk about me. I was talking about me. All right, so, did anybody see, did you see Christy Swanson talk?
Yes.
She claimed she did okay. Oh, really? You know what? She's actually a really nice person. I couldn't be more shocked. Does anyone have a question for me? Why don't we do that for a while? Yes, ma'am.
How did you like working with Bernadette Peters in Sunday in the Park with George?
Well, I love doing Sunday in the Park with George. You heard that, right? Or did you? Shall I repeat the question? She wanted to know how I enjoyed working with Bernadette Peters in Sunday in the Park with George. You know, I did Sunday in the Park with George, Stephen Sondheim musical. It was Bernadette Peters and Red Skelton. You know what? As a matter of fact, Mandy Patinkin and Red Skelton are very similar. Actually, Mandy Patinkin and Jerry Colonna are very similar. But you don't know who Jerry Colonna is, do you? That's really sad. You know. I mean, I'm sad for both of us now. Yeah, exactly. Bernadette is a dream person. She really is. She's just like the nicest person on earth. And the whole experience was great because it was Stephen Sondheim, for God's sakes. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right? He is the god of the musical theater. And I got to work with him in a Pulitzer Prize winning show. Sunday in the Park with George. Shall I sing a little of it for you?
Yes.
All right, let me sing the entire score. Red, 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 red. Oh, that's it. Another question, anyone? No questions? Okay. Yes, sir, right there.
How did you feel when you're going from a show like Star Trek to a show like The Threshold?
How did I feel?
How
Employed.
from doing playing an android to a psychotic.
To a human being.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but in my own life, I am a human being. I was only playing an android on Star Trek. That was the only show I ever did. But ordinarily, I'm very, very much like a human in most ways. Yes.
Question.
Yes, I know. We saw a reflection of the.
No.
Okay. All right.
If you had any advice to people who are in everyday jobs or working towards a career, seeking of success, any inspirational advice to someone to help them through?
Look, I'm not Billy Graham. You know what? Suck it up, do the best you can, and get through it. You know, it's a nice thing. I think that advice goes for you as well. Yes, sir.
How much of Brent Spiner ended up in Data, and how much of Data ended up in Brent Spiner after?
He asked how much of Brent Spiner ended up in Data, and how much of Data ended up in Brent Spiner, right? Well, let me start by saying, I think there's a little bit of Data in every man. And since I was Data, there's more of it in me. But I think there's probably more of me in Data than Data in me, frankly. You know, Data looked so much like me. And for the most part, sounded a bit like me, too. Data in me, I think there's a little bit of the makeup still in crevices of my body I want to talk about, but otherwise, I'm not so, there's way more of lore in me than Data. As you can tell. I don't have to tell you, do I? Yes, Gina. I'm going to call all of you by your first names, by the way. Gina. Well, not you, lady. Yeah, Gina.
For all the things that you have going on now,
Yes.
with the CD and your little pet project and a few things on that, what do you want to do that you haven't had an opportunity to do yet or have done up yet? Not necessarily related to, any particular medium.
Right. Yeah, she asked me, by the way, could you hear that?
Yes.
No, okay. I'm not even going to ask that again. I'm just going to repeat it. What did you ask? No, she asked me, with all the things I had going on in all my pet project, I'm trying to do it verbatim, by the way. My CD, I'm glad you said that. What do I feel I haven't done enough of, or what I'd like to do more of, not necessarily related to show business or life in general? Huh? Cooking, talking, speaking, thinking, watching, being. All of those things. You know what? I don't think there's ever enough of anything, frankly. What I'd really like to do more of, I can't say. But there are children present. But then wouldn't we all? Seriously though, I do think there's never enough. Never, ever, 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 ever. You can look at me and think I've had this, really nice career, and I'm really lucky, and I am, by the way, and I've gotten to do all these great things, and I totally agree with you, and still I hunger for more. It's never enough. I know I've heard Jack Nicholson say, "Gosh, I don't know if I'm ever going to work again," and it's like, come on, who cares? You've done 6,000 films, but it's never enough. And whatever it is you enjoy doing, you just want more of it. And did I mention I'm a human, by the way? Yeah. Anyway, that's the answer to you. Yes, sir, right there. Yep.
Well, two things. First off, did Data die in the movie?
Data didn't die. Data is a fictional character. Yeah. But when the character was eliminated, as we said. Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen that many grown men cry at once.
Well, you didn't see Field of Dreams, obviously.
My other question is, how did you feel playing both Data, Lore, and Dr. Soong and Rita Soong?
Oh. Well, what was the mother's name? Do you remember that? How did I feel playing all of those characters? Confused. I really, getting that straight was, I never knew who I was that day. I only did it once where I played all three in the same space. And you know how that occurred was they told me that there was going to be an episode where Data's creator was going to be portrayed. And they'd actually already contracted an actor by the name of, oh gosh, what's his name? Who? Red Skelton, exactly. Thank you, I love working with you. Red, unfortunately at the time, no, you know who it was? It was the guy who played the #1 son in the Charlie Chan movies, Key-Luke. Key-Luke was on Kung Fu. He was the master on Kung Fu. They had got Dr. Soong, and they contracted him to play Dr. Soong. And I said to Rick Berman, who produced the show, I really think it would make sense for me to play Dr. Soong because he's Data's creator, he created lore, he created these beings in his own image. It would make him kind of not only their father, but their creator, their God, and all of that stuff. And he said, well, I'll think about it. And somewhere in the week he said, you know what, I think you're right. I think, yeah, okay, you could play Dr. Soong. And I panicked. How do I play? This guy's like 100 years old. How am I going to do this? And I'm working on the voice, and I'm on a walk, and I'm thinking, I can't do this. And finally, Michael Westmore, who's a genius, who did my makeup on the show, he said, I created Dr. Soong's makeup, but I need to try it out on you before we shoot. So can you sit down in front of the mirror here and let me put it on? It takes about 4 hours, which it did. And he put the makeup on me, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I thought, I'm home. I'm home free, because anybody could play this part now in this makeup. Really, Red Skelton could have played it. Matter of fact, it was red scale. I really, it just all came to me, and I thought, this is going to be okay, and it turned out fine. Sit down? Sure. I don't know if you can see me, but can you still hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. It was someone taking photos. The press, no doubt. You notice there are about 1,000 people here with press on? Oh, yeah. You know, you're right in your own notebook, you consider yourself press. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one of the most brilliant things that I loved about Next Generation is all the little physical aspects that went into you creating character of Data. There's so many little physical and voice inflections in that. How much of that was written in the script as being what an android is like, and how much of that was given to you over as what do you think an android is like?
I don't know how to repeat that question. She was saying that she liked a lot of the detail in Next Generation, in the portrayal of Data, and the inflections, and the vocal things, and the physical things, and right? And wondering whether it was me or how that came about. It was me. Actually, you know what? The beauty of the character when I first got to got the role was that there really wasn't a precedent for how you play an android. So it was pretty much wide open. I could do anything I wanted, and people really couldn't say, "Oh, come on, that's not believable. Androids wouldn't do that." It made it easy for me just to kind of wing it and do what I wanted to do, and that became how you do it. So from now on, anyone playing an android has to do it just like me. People have tried. Did Robin Williams play an android? Okay. Let me take the one in the back there. Yes, you. Look, the one, whoever. Yeah, whoever hit him.
What other characters from Next Generation and Star Trek in general would you have been interested in ever playing?
Who would I have wanted to play in Star Trek other than, if I could have played anyone other than Data? Is that what you're asking? That is really what you're asking? We really do hit him. Well, I'll tell you what, when I was auditioning for the role of Data, I was sitting in the office of the outer office where the other actors were, and I had prepared the role of Data, and I was getting ready to go in and do my presentation, and Judy Lowry, who cast the show, came out of the office where we were going to have to go in and audition, and she came up to me and she said, "Okay, Brent, you're next," and they're thinking maybe they'd like you to play Riker. Seriously. And I went, "Riker? I don't want to play Riker." And she said, "Well, they're not sure whether they want you to read Data or Riker." And I went, "Well, if it's Riker, I have to leave." And she went, "Well, don't leave, let me go find out." So she went in and she came back out and she said, "Okay, you can read Data." And I went, "Okay." That being said, I would have liked to play Riker. Yes, ma'am, behind the stupid guy. What was it like working with them on Gargoyles? You know what? I don't know. I never worked with them really. I went into they called me and asked me if I would do this character on Gargoyles. I never even saw the character. To this day, I've never seen the character. I went in, there was the script. I said, "How does this sound if I talk like this?" And I said, "That sounds good." And I read the character, and then I came back and did it again a couple times, and the rest is history. Am I brilliant? I was brilliant, and I never even saw it, and I have no memory of it. Thank you so much. I can't wait to discover the genius of my performance. Gargoyles. Yes, ma'am.
I really enjoyed your work with Threshold. I was just wondering how you got the role and how come they never wanted to continue it?
She's asked about Threshold and how I got the part and how come they didn't want to continue it. I told somebody this story earlier. How I got the part is really, they've done a lot of auditions. I got the script sent to me to audition for. I still audition, by the way, which is preposterous. I mean, really, you know what? I just had this experience. I'll share it with you. I went up for this part. They called me. They said, I'll get to your question in a second. They said, "Will you audition for this role on a new HBO series?" And I was really excited about it because I knew who the writer was. I thought, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." But I said, they said, "They're all in New York. I said, I'm going to be in New York. And they went, no, they can't wait. They need to put you on tape now and show it to them. And I said, oh gosh, come on. Nobody ever gets a part from tape. They just don't. You put on tape with 20 other guys doing the same 3 pages of dialogue, and by the time they get to you, it's old material and nobody's interested. I said, all right, I'll go in. I went in, prepared this audition, worked on it for days. I go in, I'm there with 20 other guys, one of whom was Ken Howard, who played the White Shadow. That's how they know what they want. You know, is it him or is it the White Shadow? You know. Anyway, I went in, I auditioned for this part. They called me from New York. They saw your tape. They just went crazy. They love it. They thought you were fantastic. They're going to call tomorrow, set up an appointment for you in New York, and they want to meet you there. I get a call the next day. They cast Ted Danson. I'm like, how was Ted's tape? That didn't happen. They just called Ted and said, do you want the part? And he said, yeah. So acting is really a drag sometimes. Speaking of drag, Threshold. I got Threshold the right way, the Ted Danson way. A zillion people auditioned for it. Gosh, you know, it really is, it's a terrible business. I had read the script, passed on it, because I thought, I don't really want to do another sci-fi show. A friend of mine called me, Saul Rubinek, fantastic actor. He played Faggio in The Most Toys. You remember that episode? Great actor, Saul. I'd done a play with him years ago in New York. And he called me and says, I'm up for this sci-fi show called Threshold, for the part of a doctor. I had these ideas, and then, you know the producers. One of the producers was Brandon Baga, who wrote for Star Trek Next Generation. So